Canada's digital services tax is once again the center of a growing cross-border storm, as former and now re-elected USA President Donald Trump lashes out at Ottawa's policy targeting foreign tech giants. The digital services tax, which imposes a 2.5 to 3% levy on revenues earned from digital advertising and user data monetization by large tech platforms operating in Canada, officially went into effect this year after multiple delays and consultations. Though Canada argues the tax is a matter of fairness, the move has drawn immediate criticism from the USA government and Silicon Valley. Trump's administration is threatening retaliatory tariffs on Canadian exports, accusing Ottawa of discriminating against American businesses. In a recent speech in Michigan, Trump said, "Canada is biting the hand that feeds it. If Trudeau wants to tax our companies, we will tax their maple syrup and lumber." This rhetoric has reignited trade fears similar to the 2018 softwood, lumber and steel tariff wars that rattled both economies and led to job losses in Canada's manufacturing and forestry sectors. The digital services tax is designed to target companies with global revenues exceeding $1.1 billion Canadian dollars and Canadian revenues of at least 20 million Canadian dollars. This threshold is meant to hit tech giants like Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Apple, which generates billions in Canadian AD and e-commerce revenue without paying significant domestic corporate tax. Supporters argue the digital services tax levels the playing field for Canadian publishers and businesses, especially as traditional media struggles to survive in a digital age dominated by foreign monopolies. However, small Canadian businesses that rely on social media ads for marketing worry the cost will be passed down to them. Digital ad rates have already increased on Meta platforms, and marketing agencies say their clients are being squeezed. "We're a bakery in Mississauga, not Google," said one small business owner. "But now we're paying more to promote our posts because the platforms are passing the tax to advertisers." Critics say the government underestimated how the cost burden would shift. Canadian officials argue the tax is temporary and will be replaced once a multilateral solution is implemented through the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, which has been working on global digital tax frameworks. However, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development process has been seen with Trump back in office and critical of global institutions. Canada's hope for an international agreement seems increasingly unlikely in the near term. Meanwhile, tensions are rising not only in Washington but also among Canadian political parties. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has blasted the digital services tax as another Trudeau tax on small business, while the NDP has urged the government to go further and impose a windfall tax on tech companies' pandemic-era profits. The debate has become a hot-button issue in the run-up to provincial elections in British Columbia and Ontario, where tech and small business sectors play a key economic role. Industry reactions have been mixed. Netflix, which recently opened a production hub in Toronto, has remained mostly silent, perhaps not wanting to jeopardize Canadian goodwill. However, Meta has already reduced visibility for Canadian news outlets on Facebook and Instagram, citing earlier government legislation and now the digital services tax as part of a hostile business environment. This has sparked outrage from journalists and consumers who accuse tech companies of censorship and bullying. Some experts believe Canada's decision could inspire similar moves in other countries. France, the UK, and India have already implemented or proposed digital taxes, and Australia is considering one. Canada is punching above its weight, said one tax policy analyst. It's showing that even a mid-sized country can take on big tech. There will be consequences. On the economic front, the fallout could affect Canada's fragile post-COVID recovery. If the USA follows through on its tariff threats, exporters in agriculture, lumber, and auto parts could face major setbacks. The Canadian dollar has already shown minor weakness following Trump's remarks, and markets are wary of another prolonged trade standoff. Economists warn that this tax versus tariff tit-for-tat could impact GDP growth and investor confidence as both countries brace for potential escalation. One thing is clear: Canada's digital services tax, though popular among those seeking corporate accountability, has opened a new front in the ever-complicated Canada-USA trade relationship. Whether it becomes a bold act of tax justice or a costly misstep will depend on how both Ottawa and Washington choose to handle the next few months of digital diplomacy. Thanks for watching as Canada takes a bold stand on taxing big tech. The world is watching, and so is Washington. Will this move level the digital playing field or spark another cross-border trade war? Only time will tell. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if you support fair taxation. Subscribe to West is Best for more updates on Canadian politics, economy, and digital trends. And do not forget to share this with your friends who care about Canada's future in the digital age.